appropriate window. Braveness.
Good afternoon.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to Trail Talk. We are really glad you could join us today because we don't want to have to do this alone.
No, we would not be able to.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're coming to you live from our classroom studio here at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. I'm Edie.
And I'm Mary.
And we have a lesson that not everyone might really want to.
If you live in Oklahoma, you know about them and you may not want to hit it head on, but
Yeah, but you need to be aware.
safety first.
Yes, there you go. We're thinking about your well-being when we talk about this. So dangerous and annoying insects in Oklahoma. In my opinion, every insect is annoying.
And there's dangerous.
And yes,
I mean-
they might as well all be deadly.
You've ever had a small child in the car and they think they're going to jump out? It could be dangerous, even if it's a moth.
This is true. This is true. June bugs.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, so these insects, I just thought this was a great little county by county picture of Oklahoma. Here we are right down here, Duncan, Stevens County. There are a number of dangerous pests that live in Oklahoma, about 540 common. That's an
Sleep well.
overwhelming number if you stop and think about that.
Yes, it is.
I mean, when I was going through and looking at pictures of them, I just kept seeing more and more that
Did you recognize?
I did not recognize, which terrified me, thinking
When do they come out?
they're out there and I've never seen them. It was awful. Anyway, but there are two main types, arachnids and insects.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk about the arachnids today
Mhm.
so we can get it done, because I'm not a fan.
Nope.
But it is, you may not need to know the difference between the two.
But
Why
yeah,
not?
yeah.
Why not?
While we're here.
Arachnids include spiders, of course, but also ticks and scorpions. I did not realize that ticks were considered arachnids.
Scorpions I might have heard of before.
Yeah.
being in that.
Yeah, insect bodies have only 2 sections and 6 legs, where an
Yeah.
arachnid typically has 3 body sections and 8 legs. So on a tick, I don't know what those body segments are.
I thought it was just one.
Big fat thing with a head, I know, and a bunch of legs. But
Mhm.
anyway, if you're close enough to count body sections and legs, you may be too close. Those are words to live by right
I can
there.
see this and maybe too late.
That's right. So the first one is the fiddleback,
I never.
brown recluse. These guys are very common.
They like to hide.
Yeah.
Like clothing that hasn't been worn, closet.
Now, the
shoes.
thing that people, I think, see like a wolf spider
Mhm.
sometimes.
Think of that. I'm not maybe I
Mary's
checked.
Mary's trying to hide
I'm
it.
over here.
These guys are, their shells are kind of, I don't know if you call them shiny, but they appear to be hard, and their legs are very long, and they stand up on like their tiptoes, kind of.
Mhm.
In fact, I've had like pest control people say spraying for these is not always very effective.
Right.
Because they just run over the top before the spray lands. You really need to get a direct shot
Mhm.
on the brown recluse most of the time. But they are, I mean, a recluse, they like to be by themselves. They like to be away from things. That's why they are going to be in those dark places that you don't always go
Right,
to,
right.
your
I mean,
attic,
yes.
a spot in the
If you haven't worn
garage.
something for a while in your closet, shake it out really good.
Yeah.
Shoes that you haven't worn in a while.
Yeah. They
Blankets.
come out at night, typically more than in the day. I was telling Mary and someone else earlier, years and years ago, someone told me that if you find roly-poly carcasses, like on the floor in your house or around in the garage or whatever, the fiddlebacks have been feeding on those. They like a good roly-poly. And I mean, who doesn't, right? I could old roly-poly anyway. So that's
find a good one.
that's a good indicator that you might have some of those around. And so then it's a good time to do what you can. They do shed.
Really?
Yeah, they have like a shedding thing that
Mhm.
they do. And so sometimes you might just find the little shed skin deal. Yeah, I've had a little experience with these guys.
Yes.
I mean, we had a friend was getting wood out of a wood pile. And he
I
was
like wood.
he was bitten by one, and their bites are very
Venomous.
venomous,
dangerous.
very
My
venomous.
mother was bit by one and yes.
I mean, almost immediately, the tissue in the center where the bite happened will begin to degrade and will rot away if you don't get some kind of medical attention. So if you've been bitten by a spider and there's any kind of a red
Heat,
spot,
And it starts to
yes,
grow.
you need to get attention almost immediately.
Mhm.
I have
It'll make
heard
you
of
sick.
I have heard of doctors who have like an injection they put right in the center,
No.
and it will save a lot of the tissue and
Mhm.
stuff. So anyway, beware and be extra careful because you need to have that looked at. The severity is kind of case by case. You can't say they're all gonna be
Right,
as
and how
serious, but
Venomous each spider's
Mhm.
bite is, or how long you wait to go be seen.
yeah, but I mean, just be careful
Mhm.
and beware of this fella right
Mhm.
here.
There's a
The
fiddle on
fiddle
his back.
part, you can't see it very clearly on here, but it does kind of appear to be like a darker thing with the.
Kind of like a
so,
fiddle.
Yeah. A more recognizable is the black widow. Now, yes, there are other black shiny
Mhm.
spiders.
Right, but the red,
Yes, the red kind of hourglass on the belly, the abdomen, that is the telltale sign. And these spiders are a lot like the brown
yes,
recluse.
they like to hide.
They like to hide. They are like,
Undisturbed areas.
yeah, up under, we had this little Tykes wagon, they're made of that molded plastic.
Mhm.
And every spring, we would flip it over, and where there was like little indention things in the bottom, without fail, a black widow would have made a nest up in there.
And sometimes they like the dumpsters too, your trash
Mm,
dumpsters.
oh,
So I have trouble putting my hand in there and carrying them where it's supposed to, because that's where
Oh.
I've seen some come out.
Oh, yeah. So any kind of a hidden spot, just check first before you go in the warmer times of the
Right,
year,
right.
I think. The males and immature females of the species are harmless, but a mature female has a toxic, venomous bite. This said that they like to build webs in sheds, barns, and under garden rocks.
Mhm.
So any kind of a dark, kind of hidden place.
Right.
But if you think you've been bitten, wash it, put ice on it, elevate it, and immediately seek medical attention. Pain begins at the site, and within 8 to 12 hours, you can have stomach and back cramps, sweating, nausea, fever, headache, restlessness, and tremors. So it sounds like this goes right to the nervous system.
Right. Mhm.
And so you definitely want to get treated for
Yeah, 'cause the
black
longer you
widow
wait, the
venom.
more it's gonna be working through your
Mhm.
system,
Yeah.
just like the brown recluse.
Yeah, where that one starts out very isolated
Mhm.
and things happen at the
Works
site
different.
of the bite.
Mhm.
This one gets into the
Spreads.
bloodstream and spreads. Okay, so we have another spider that we're going to look at, because these guys are everywhere.
I know. These, for some reason, have never scared me, even though I've heard that they
Mhm.
have the most venom or poison per pack per punch or whatever, but they
Mhm.
just don't have the capability to.
Right now,
Release
and
it.
I did a little digging
Did
on
you?
that. Myth
False?
busted.
Good.
Yeah, there's no way
How could
that
you tell?
there's no way that supposedly the fangs are too short.
Mhm.
Well, if the fangs are too short, then why would
They have
anyone
to-
think
why
they
would
have
have it?
venom and there's no way to get the venom out?
Mhm. That's
Even-
what I always wonder too.
Even like you can milk
Mhm.
the venom
Mhm.
out of venomous creatures,
Right.
you can't do that to one of these.
Some
So
things are just
anyway, but
large and in
what these
charge.
things do, which I had never seen this, it was about probably 3 or 4 years ago, about 4 years ago. On the side of a cabin at Falls Creek,
Mhm.
there were large like nests of these things where it would be like an area the size of that picture right
Mhm.
there, and just be 100 of them,
Mhm.
just like all congregated, and they were spread all over the side of the building. I mean, it was one of the most terrifying things I'd ever seen. And I mean,
Arachnophobia.
yes, I know they're not, they don't, my dad used to tell us that they would put daddy long legs in bed with them to eat the bed bugs. I'm like, okay, Dad, whatever.
Everybody in bed.
Yeah, everybody, come on. Anyway, but, yeah, these guys, I knew you guys would recognize them. They're everywhere. They probably are.
I don't even know how they walk. Their
helpful.
hair, I mean, their legs look like tiny little.
Yeah, they are very
Yeah.
thin. And there are actually, there's the daddy long legs, and then there's another one that people will call a daddy long
Mhm.
legs. One of them is actually an arachnid, the other one is not, but they still go,
Look a
you know,
similar
they
way.
still consider them to be spiders. Somehow,
Yeah.
or I guess just in general.
Yeah.
But anyway, but see, they're pretty harmless, but anyway, yeah, I
Still-
thought I'd, and then this was this is a picture. So, recently I was getting out of my car into a grassy area, and I happened to look down before I put my foot down, and that was on the ground. I want you to look, you can see the eyes on that thing.
Mhm.
Anyway, that was on the ground, and at first I thought, what is that? Is that a tarantula? But no, look at how thin the legs are. These are not big hairy tarantula eggs. So, upon further investigation, it came to my attention that this body
Just wait.
looks so big because it's covered in baby spiders. This is, I guess, the mama spider carrying the babies.
Mhm.
I don't know, I guess they're out on a shopping trip. Beats me what they're doing, but
She's careful.
I kind of have a little bit of a minute when I think about stepping on this thing and what would have happened with all those tiny hundreds of little miniature spiders. Anyway, this is just your wolf spider,
Yeah.
those big
Hairy.
furry
looking,
ones,
they
yeah,
jump.
that are running around in the grass.
Mhm.
Watch where you step.
Mhm.
And if you see something that looks like this, run for the hills.
Or get a bat.
Because don't even get a bat, because you hit that thing and I can just imagine them coming up the bat,
Yeah.
you know?
If you make a
Once they-
direct target.
I think
you can get
maybe
all at
if you
once.
could put a jar, oh, you know, anything that would let them escape. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
thinking like put it in and then you screw it into the ground and let it die because it can't go anywhere. I'm sorry
you
for-
trap and you rest them in peace all at the same time.
Spider/insect lovers.
We mean no harm.
We mean no harm except to kill the spiders.
You like them, you keep them on your
Yeah,
side.
you go ahead.
Mhm.
Anyway, I just needed to show
Yeah.
that because of my
Glad you did. I forgot that
my
was there.
traumatic
obviously.
experience. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, next we're gonna talk about ticks.
Mm.
Working out at my mom and dad's farm yesterday, my dad had one crawling on him. Yeah. But this is the typical, the dog
Cycle.
tick. And I mean, you know, we've seen these
Mhm.
kind of guys.
Yeah.
If you've ever had a tick on you, it was probably one of these.
Mhm.
Man,
they-
but look at how fast they go to town, don't they?
I mean, this looks more like some kind of vegetation, like a.
Yeah, and by the time it's that big, I mean, it's probably about the size of your fingernail.
Mhm.
It's big.
Mhm.
It is very, very large. These are, whenever you find one on
That's
your
like-
dog like that, those are the ones that
That's
you
like-
better have on a rain slicker whenever you go to pull that
It's
off,
like the
because
world's
they
biggest loser,
rupture.
like ticks.
Yeah.
tickers.
They rupture
Yeah, I
fast.
can only imagine.
But you're gonna get your ticks in tall, grassy areas, bushy areas, walk trees,
Vegetation.
they're so small and they're so flat, the wind can literally carry them
Mhm.
places.
Right.
And so they're just around. You can have, you know, some insect
Yeah.
repellent.
Yeah, we'll have tick.
It will also make the ticks not want
What
to
is
be
that
around.
called? I don't know what that's called, that's in there. So, would you look that up for us real quick? Can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I can't either. Anyway, but they there are some smell, scent,
Mhm.
aromas that they don't really like. But all of that stuff, you can read all of that online. You know, some people say just wear essential oils. I don't know.
Whatever seems to work for you.
Yeah. So
And always check your hairlines and like your waistlines and things like
Yeah.
that when you come in.
now they armpits,
Armpits.
yeah. These don't their bite in and of itself is not necessarily dangerous,
Mhm.
but they are disease carrying
Mhm.
insects or whatever. In fact, in the days of cattle drives,
That was,
there were diseases that were carried by ticks that would get on some of the cattle. And when it was discovered where the diseases were coming
Yeah.
from, quarantine started happening.
you don't even know how to pronounce them. Babizos.
Babesiosis, ehrlichiosis, tularemia, and Q fever. Not to mention Rocky Mountain spotted
Lyme's disease.
fever, Lyme disease. Lyme disease only comes from the deer tick.
Mhm.
These are a couple of little brown dog ticks, a male and a female.
Mhm.
I mean, these are just, you know, and there's
Plus, a
the,
minute of
when I
rest,
was a
right?
kid, when I had a tick stuck in me, my mom and dad would
Match.
light a match, burn it out, and then put the little match head on my skin
You want to make sure you get the head.
to try to get them to dry out. They say, do not do that now. Get your tweezers, grab a hold of it and pull
All in one swoop.
all in one swoop, and then treat the site. Something my mom has always done is she keeps the tick, puts it in alcohol, keeps
just in
it, writes the
case.
date on it in case anybody gets sick.
It's a good idea.
You have the tick to
have
be tested or whatever.
Mhm. Did you
Yeah.
find it, Emery? Okay.
Anyway, the ticks are literally everywhere. The dog tick and the brown dog tick are really the most common around here. The deer tick can be found around here. A lot of northern parts of the US have more deer ticks, but you can see they do look slightly different. They are a little bit smaller.
They have this membrane around their belly.
Yeah, yeah. They're a little bit smaller than the other ticks, but they'll latch on, fill up with blood, all of that kind of stuff. But the Lyme disease that they carry,
There's no.
there are so many different reactions to that.
And it can
long
be years before
term.
you know it.
Yeah. And what, yes,
All
and
the testing.
that, yeah, it is a really bad disease. So always try to use some kind of repellent, something to help
DEET.
keep, DEET, yes. Something to keep those things off of you. And if you're gonna be in a heavily wooded area, especially a place where it's known that there are ticks there, go the extra mile, wear a hat. I mean, that was one thing I would always do if I was gonna be in the trees for any reason. I would always put a hat on to try to keep them out of my hair. That's
And
the
check,
hardest
check,
place.
check.
That's the hardest place to find them. After working outside, my dad found a tick crawling on him. So last night I was like, Mom, check my head for ticks. I was like, I haven't had anyone check my head for ticks in a while. But I thought, I don't want these things. I do not want them. Okay, and so lastly, we're going to talk about the old scorpion. Now the scorpions that we have in Oklahoma are their own couple of inches long. I killed one just last week.
When we lived out, we found some,
Mhm.
and I always thought scorpion was a scorpion, they're deadly, and then come to find out.
Yeah,
Not so much.
yeah, it hurts. It's more like a wasp
I was
sting.
actually stung twice in my sleep.
Oh,
And.
yeah.
Here.
yeah. I was stung on the foot when I was a kid. I mean, it hurt.
Yeah.
But it's not, like I said, the scorpions that are around here are not, I suppose you could have a reaction. I don't know.
Right, if you have an
could be
allergy
allergic.
and you
Mhm.
didn't know.
But there are experts believe, or it's assumed by experts that between 3 and 5 species live in Oklahoma. There's only one that is commonly seen throughout the state. It's about 2 inches long. They have 8 legs, 4 on each side, 2 pincers. That's these little bad boys up here. And then
Tail.
the tail that has a stinger
Mhm.
at the end of it. So, I mean, they're pretty mean looking.
Yeah,
You
they're-
know, they're armed, ready for battle. I don't know if you know this or not, but they are fluorescent. They glow in the dark.
Really?
Yeah.
All of them?
If you put a black light on them,
You have to have black light.
yeah, they will glow.
Mhm.
There's something about whatever it is that
They're made of.
their skin
Huh.
or whatever's in them.
Interesting.
Yeah, I learned that in a class that Cindy Parks taught one time.
Shout out to Cindy. Potter.
So shout out to Cindy Parks. Okay, they like to be around air conditioning condensers and wells.
So like water.
That They like dry land but require water.
Okay, so they don't like live in it, but they need it close by.
Right, inside your home, there'd be in empty wall spaces, attics and crawl spaces. So, you know, again, just like these other guys, if you're bit by one, take it seriously.
It's not gonna hurt to go seek medical, attention.
Mhm.
Don't wait,
Yeah,
you know,
now I don't
err on the
know,
side of caution.
you know how like a bee or a wasp, they got one sting,
Mhm.
right? Because the stinger comes out and stays in you. I don't know if that happens with the scorpion or not.
I know they're hard to kill.
Yeah, they're kind of crunchy.
You have
They're
to,
hard shelled. Yeah, they're not gelatinous,
they will not go lightly into that. Fair enough.
but they are, these are very common. All of these, little creepy crawlies we've talked about today, very common around here. They are, not extremely dangerous,
Right.
but they are definitely things that you want to be cautious. I guess the brown recluse and black widow would probably
Right.
be the most,
Mhm.
and if
And it's
a
not an
deer tick
immediate
had
type
Lyme
thing where
disease.
you're gonna just like a rattlesnake bite or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, exactly. Did you find something else?
So the stinger is usually not lost or left in the person's tissue after a sting.
Okay, so a
Very
scorpion, they got
dangerous.
more than one, which is all the more reason to
Mhm.
crush them
Mhm.
hard whenever you see them. Do
Yes.
away with them. I have heard they are also difficult to spray for.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
They
and
build up tolerance maybe? or
I
things?
don't know, but from what I understand, unless if they're already in the crawl spaces in your house, I think it's very hard to get rid of them. But you can spray a perimeter
Mhm.
outside your house, and that helps keep them from getting
Population
in.
down.
Yeah, keeps the old population down, which is the goal.
That's right.
I'm
Moving's always an option.
Yeah, I mean, as creepy and weird as these things are as adults, when they're babies, it's even worse. There is nothing cute about a baby, any of these things that we looked at. Not at all.
Nope.
So, that does it for this part one of this. Like I said, we're gonna
Sweet
look.
Moms and all.
Yeah, we are gonna go ahead and we're gonna look at some flying insects in the weeks to come. I mean, this is kind of a good kind of
Well,
summary
summertime,
kind
yeah.
of
Yeah.
lesson.
Being outdoors.
Yeah, and during the months of June and July, we're only going to have trail talk one day a week. So this is our one day this week. Next week, we're going to meet on Thursday at 3:00. And we are going to visit with a man named Mark McGehee, who is a historian, very well versed in like historical eras with wars. US history,
Okay.
plus a lot of Native American history. So I think he's going to be a really
Awesome.
interesting guest. Looking forward to talking to
Alright.
him. And so you guys enjoy the week. Look out for all of these insects we just showed you, and kill what you can. So we'll see you guys next week.
Oh, happy
Happy
trails.
trails.